last panelist today, moving away from the world of taxes into investment banking, private equity investment, merchant banking, mergers and acquisitions. The one man who can answer all your queries is Mr. Ravichandran Babu. He has played a key role in actually closing many private equity deals for so many companies. I was going through his profile and the list of companies read like the membership list of CII or FICCI. So in terms of experience of various sectors and the kind of role of private equity, Ravichandran Babu is the best person to focus on that as part of the union budget. Mr. Ravichandran Babu.
Thanks, Sudhir. Good evening, everybody, and good evening to it's a great honor and pleasure to be talking to the aspirants of the future administrators. So I would like to delve in two areas. First is the private equity funds and the venture capitalists, which has actually given a great fillip to the startup economy of India. It's been there since last 10 years, but the last 7 years, particularly starting from 2015, August 15th, when the Government of India, Ministry of Industry and Commerce promoted a Startup India initiative. So that was the starting point. They set up a fund, which is now almost about 10,000 crores. This budget is allocated almost about 283 crores. For the last 2 years, the government COVID has actually made many structural changes across all sectors. And this has given a lot of fillip to growth of this digital tech companies. And that has grown, actually it is being grown, it is being reaching people to the smallest of the smallest village. Just to give an example, other day I came across where a 10 rupee tea was paid through PhonePe in a small cart shop which was on the roadside. So that's the kind of digital economy. So everybody now has a smartphone and they are connected. Now the Government of India typically has to raise money from the taxes, as Ms. Revati and Shreyans was telling. That's a major part of the scheme of budget. So unfortunately in India, we have a 1.34 billion, 134 crore population. Only about 8.5 to 9 crore people pay taxes. This is a 2021 figure, and which is very low compared to the other countries. So the problem is that mapping of people who are likely to pay taxes has not happened, and this government is making initiative. This digital tech companies, I feel, is enabling, and that is being actually supported by a lot of this venture capital funds and PE funds who have come in and put in huge amounts of money. Just to give an idea is in 2016-17, there were only 733 startups. As of 2021, there are 14,000 startups. And only in 2021, there were 44 unicorns. Unicorns, which means that their valuations are more than 1 billion above. So 21 alone, more than $63 billion were pumped in, whereas last year, that is the 2020, about $40 billion were pumped in by various venture capital funds and private equity funds. Now, this has given fillip to a lot of areas. One, the forex reserves of the country actually has grown to almost about 640 billion as we speak. There is very huge growth, and that has given a great strength to the Government of India to actually control its forex expenditure as well as investments and all. This happened because of the inflow of major funds into the country for investment opportunities. Now, giving this, just to give a few examples, is earlier, there was the agri sector, the infra and the real estate industry, IT, have been big job generators. But of late, in the last 5 to 6 years, this new startups have actually given so many jobs, and it is increasing on a yearly basis, and that is really good for the country. And thereby, when the startups coming out with the new technology, the mapping also is becoming easier for the government to bring in more taxpayers into the tax net. That is one. The next thing is, I would like to also bring in the new concepts. This also helps basically to develop new concepts, new ideation, new technology, because India has been actually very behind compared to the Western countries. And now with this, support from this private equity and venture capital has helped come the new generation, the millennials, the Gen Y, Gen Z people to come out with new ideas, new concepts. Thereby, a lot of patents, copyrights, everything is generated. So going forward, I think this will help the economy to a greater extent. Thereby, the tax net will also be widening, and that will help the government to raise more funds. Then that is one part of it. And of course, the world's top funds, everybody is now focused in India. The size of investments are phenomenal. Like Flipkart, only in 2021, they got an investment of 3.6 billion. And Baiju, we know the EdTech, the investment has been across various sectors. Baiju got a funding of almost $1 billion, which is substantial. Now, these are the actual ways and means how the economy can be actually grown. And I think the future bureaucrats should actually focus on the new economy, the new thought process, and the new growth areas for the startup, this thing. And that will help the country to grow economically as well as, create jobs in other sectors also. Now, I also want to delve on a new area because of shortage of time, the new concept of cryptocurrencies, which is again a very new concept. And a lot of millionaires have started showing, yes, crypto is actually a big issue where it's a virtual asset and it doesn't buy you anything like a Bitcoin or Ethereum or various coins. It doesn't buy you asset, but then a lot of people are waiting to invest. The regulation is not very clear. Until very recently, it was illegal to deal in cryptocurrency in India. But government has just come up during this budget saying that there is a taxation. Only the tax has been pronounced, but there are no regulatory framework which has come. Hopefully by 22-23, we expect some regulatory framework to come in. And in the process, they have also announced a new crypto, which is a digital currency, which is called the Central Bank Digital Currency, CBDC. They're making rupee as a virtual asset. Now, what this means, typically, if the money is kept in a bank as a FD, now you know that they have only a 5 lakh limit for your deposit. That's a credit guarantee scheme, which the government of India have promised. Whereas when the money is operated through the central bank, which is the Reserve Bank of India, your money is protected. So it's 100%. There's no way that the government, the Reserve Bank or the federal bank will go bust. So that is a new evolving idea which the government is thinking of. So that will help the government to efficiently and manage the currency, and it will become cheaper to manage currency. You'll have less currency dealing where people will start using the digital currency of the new concept of GDBC. And as usual, I think Revati has mentioned about the tax structure, which is a 30% tax structure on crypto. They all use the blockchain technology, which again actually is being promoted by a lot of IT companies, which is supporting the startups to provide the kind of technology. So, and it also helps the GDBC rupee payment helps you to actually do cross-border payments, which means basically if you want to transfer money to your close relative or anybody abroad, or you want to buy a book abroad, it goes through multiple banking channels. You have your local bank again reaches out to a corresponding bank abroad, and then it gets again credited to whoever you want to reach. But by using GDBC, the government says the federal bank will enable you to directly talk to the other banker, where the payments and other transactions can become very helpful. So this is the basic this thing I want to, and for shortage of time, I feel that question answers are coming up, I suppose. Thanks very much for giving the opportunity. You can take over soon. Bye.
Right.